Welcome to the 3Haunted podcast, where we bring you all things horror, supernatural, folklore, mythology, and all things that go bump in the night.
What's up, everybody? This is your co-host, Ashley Lunar Goddess, Gorilla Girl filmmaker and horror-loving cinephile. I'm just your average podcast-producing badass.
I'm John Thomas. Some would say that I go a little too far with my love of all things horror, paranormal, and meta, but I say, talk nerdy to me, and I'm all yours.
I'm BJ Sewura, an aspiring paranormal musician who plays live for the dead because the living just doesn't want to hear me.
The Dead of Winter Horror Network and Nick King from the 508 Productions invite you to endure the most terrifying immersive experience in all of podcasting. Beneath the Red Umbrella, now available wherever you listen to podcasts. Beneath the Red Umbrella, when the snow falls, the killing season begins.
What's up, ghouls, gals, and all of our paranormal pals out there? And maybe even some of our normies. In today's episode, we're joined by special guest Michael Gagliano. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Bippity boppity boo.
Bippity-boppity.
Michael Gagliano. To talk about all things that go bump in the night. Michael is a producer, actor, and cinematographer. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a lovely, lovely pleasure and honor.
Yeah, so before we get too involved, I wanted to know what is your guys' stance on noodles? Like, good to go?
They're only noodles, Michael.
Yes. It was the Lost Boys quote.
He set it up for me.
She wanted
That
to
I've
put
always
out there.
that I've always needed. I needed a Michael to tee that one up for me. So, what kind of noodles are we talking about? Ramen, pho, like spaghetti? What kind?
I like it all. Some people are just, they're not noodlers. Okay, I just wasn't sure what your take was. Are you in with the noodles or no?
I'm pro noodle. Pro noodle.
Pro noodle.
Yes, like if it's a noodle, I'll take it.
BJ, are you pro noodle?
They're worms. They're worms.
What do you mean they're worms?
Would you like to try some baschetti?
Baschetti, yes.
I love spaghetti. Biscotti.
Yes, always. I love that. I mean, What We Do in the Shadows, right? Amazing,
Yes.
amazing movie and show.
If noodles, what would be your like top noodle? If it's like you could only have one noodle dish, what would it be?
You got to go with chicken parmesan with spaghetti.
Okay.
I think that's now, because I say that because sometimes you can go to a place and ask for chicken parm and you get no spaghetti, and then I just flip a lid. I'm like, how do you not give me the spaghetti, huh? Come on.
Do you turn into a housewife and like flip the fucking tables and throw drinks at them?
I do, and if I can't flip the table, I just flip myself onto the floor.
I can see
Sometimes
that.
they're nailed down really good.
Yeah.
Is ravioli a noodle?
That is a form of pasta. I will accept that.
You know what? Speaking of pasta and filled things, you know what I really miss? You guys remember the Hot Pocket pot pies?
No.
Hot Pocket pot pies were amazing.
Hot Pockets?
Hot Pocket pot pies.
Hot Pocket Popeyes. I like how you
Hot
says it
Pocket
up fast.
So
Hot Pocket Popeyes.
Hot Pocket pot pie.
we filmed an episode of our show in Gettysburg at the Hoover House, and the show will it's not aired yet. I think it's the next episode that comes out in February, and though if you pay close attention, you'll realize I'm holding a Ziploc bag of Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs. So when you finally get to watch the episode, you're like, what the hell is he holding? It is, in fact, Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs. So
You just ate it out of the bag.
yeah, I ate it out of the bag. I did.
I gotta say, I watched a couple of the episodes, and I my favorite part is you just randomly just chomping on food, just random
Yes.
things. Like it's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna have some beef jerky right now. Like I know we're in it, but like I'm hungry and beef jerky sounds amazing. So let's do that.
And she
real
gets
quick.
so mad. It's the best.
I actually have a question about that. So you have this show. It's great. I love the office style of it, right? You guys are like stepping away. You're like, talking about how things are going and, outside of the seriousness of the actual investigation and everything. And she's getting annoyed, but I want to know, like, well, first, how did you guys meet?
That's great. She had an OnlyFans, and no, I'm kidding. So
Oh my God, I do too.
hey, I need to get one. I need to start one. I feel like everybody's got one. I just don't know that there's like, I don't know if there's a market for like just elbow pics, you know?
Oh, there's a fetish for everything. I'm sure you could tell
Okay.
the elbow.
Okay. I have a very nice weenus on the left side, specifically.
Just the left one.
Yeah, just the left. But that's a story for another day.
Like, this is my
So,
good weenus.
That's my good weenus, yes. and then I have my naughty weenus. So I was a co-host of a show called The Rockin' Comedy Show, and I did that for about 10 years, 10 to 15 years. I did that, and I interviewed Zach Bagans in 2010. I interviewed Zach Bagans. That was interesting. But I met Mary Lynn there, right? We kind of hit it off. She came up to me and had mentioned how she felt like somebody in my family was getting ready to pass. They were very sick, and that she wasn't sure it could be 3 days, 3 months, but it had something to do with the number 3. My mother-in-law passed away that night at 3 in the morning. So I immediately, after that happened, I called and was like, thank you for making that happen. You know, just, whew. No, I'm kidding. No, but it was really incredible. I couldn't believe how, I wasn't sure, like, I had to figure out what kind of car she drove. I was like, have I seen that car, like, in my neighborhood? You know, is she stalking me? Like, how did she know? It turns out she's just a really freaking good psychic. She's got that ESPN 8, the Ocho. And years pass, like, I kind of lose contact with her. Years pass. I start a couple of other shows. I start a show called Two Clueless Dudes, like a little podcast. And then I have my own show on the radio called Mad Mike's High Power Hour, the only 2-hour show that's 15 minutes long. And then I don't feel fulfilled, right? This is legitimately what happens. About a year ago, I'm just kind of at home, and I feel like it's one of those moments where you start to think about like your legacy, right? Like, what are you leaving behind? You know, other than like random poops at the waste treatment facility, right? So I'm like, dang, I need to do something. I want to do something different. And I just, out of sheer randomness, I came across her like on Facebook. So I hit her up. She was like, hey, I'm getting ready to do this podcast. Why don't you watch? So I watch her do this podcast, and they talk about Deadwood. And there's this paranormal convention in Deadwood. And she says, Mike, I really think you should come down. I said, man, you know what? I'm going to do it. I got in my car in Las Vegas, and I drove to South Dakota, Deadwood, South Dakota. I dressed up as a Ghostbuster with a mustache because, I didn't want anybody to know who I was. I'm very famous. And it was one of the most incredible experiences of my life because I got to experience all these incredible people in the paranormal field. I met Josh Purvis and Shane Pittman. Shane, I don't know if you know who Shane is. He did 28 Days Haunted and the Holzer Files, right? I've never watched anything other than talk to Zach Bagans about taking the ring to Mordor. I've never had any other like experiences, right? So after that, I said, hey, Mary Lynn, do you want to do like a podcast? So she was like, yeah, let's do it. We launched a podcast, and then a month later, I'm in Virginia City by myself. I run across Shane Pittman and Josh Purvis again, and I just have this epiphany, and I say, hey, I know you get probably show pitches all the time, but I really do have a really cool idea. And that was when I pitched Pair with the Normal. And he loved it, and we started filming almost right away. And the person that I wanted to pick for the psychic was Mary Lynn, because she grounds me, because I'm not as much as it's called Pair with the Normal, I absolutely am not. I'm a weird bird, and I know that, and she helps kind of keep me down, you know?
I love that you showed up in a Ghostbusters outfit, because I've been telling these guys the only way they can get me to go on investigations is if I can bring my Ghostbusters costume with my full, like, activated proton pack.
Exactly.
Yep.
If I can bring that, I'm good. I'll go. I'll do it.
So it was so funny, because I was like, when I first did it, I was like, they're either going to be really mad or they're going to love it. And thankfully, they loved it. It went very well, which was awesome.
So who is your favorite Ghostbuster?
Any of the ones that are still alive. I'm a big. I don't know their names. There was Egon, Venkman.
Winston.
I want to say there was
Keep
one
going.
named
Keep going.
Omar.
You Winston, Omar. Yeah, Omar was like a secondary character.
And is there like a Franklin? I feel like there should be a Franklin. I'm not sure.
There was an Alfred. No, wait, that's
An Alfred? Is it Alfred? No?
I'm kidding.
Oh no, I don't know where
I know
she got
there was a Zool.
I'm just
right?
throwing
There's
shit
Zool.
out there. He is. I,
I mean-
am.
I mean, Rick Moranis dressed up as one for a minute in the second movie. So
I don't know if he really counts
That would be so awesome.
Alfred.
because he put himself in the suit. Well,
yeah,
okay,
he
she
had to
put him
save
in
the
the
day.
suit, but
Well, right. I think that was more. I don't know. I feel like they were just kind of playing dress up at that point and kind of getting turned on by it. You know,
I think they were.
I mean, he was trying to save the day, but she was also like, "Hey, let's."
He
see
was
how
saving
you look in
someday.
the suit.
Yeah.
So, Para with the Normal. How many
Yep.
episodes do you have out?
Right now, out that you can watch, there are 4.
Okay.
Let's see, we've got, the first one is Black Swan Inn in San Antonio. Immediately follow, and the Black Swan Inn is my actual first ever investigation. So, which makes it even more strange, right? And then we did the Yorktown literally the next day. Yorktown Hospital. I don't know if you've been there. That is one of the creepiest places I've ever been in my life. We actually went back there about a month ago and did some more filming, but
Yeah.
the next episode is in Baton Rouge. We go to Baton Rouge and we film at an abandoned women's hospital that the administration side of the building has been turned into an active police station, but the hospital side they don't use because of the weird activity.
Asbestos.
So we got approval from the mayor to go in there. Yeah, Ghostbusters. And so that's where. So if you watch that episode, I may or may not be dressed up as the guy from Reno 911. So just look for that. And then the next episode after that is in just outside of Birmingham, Alabama. I do a little squatching.
Did you find anything?
So what's weird about it is me personally, no, because I was being an idiot. But
At least
it
you're
turns
honest.
out we actually did catch a lot of really interesting phenomena out there. It's just not anything that we could put in the episode because our show, like some people's shows, they're really about the, the investigation, like Dark Echoes, Paranormal, or Haunted Files or whatever. They're about the investigation and it's from step A to step B. My show is more like the break you take after watching something like that, right? When you just want to put on something, you just want to laugh, you want to be dumb. You don't need to have a full investigation. Maybe you just want to learn a little bit about it, but you don't want to be scared. You just want to have a good time. That being said, there are some episodes where things do get pretty heavy. Virginia City, which will be our last episode to air, is really intense. So we have 4 out right now, and then another 4 that are going to be released in February.
Do you ever like? Obviously, you're playing this
Shave?
almost like
Yes.
yes, you're playing this character, but you're having a good time, right? But do the spirits ever feel like? I feel like when I go on investigations that, if it's not a disrespectful thing, but like if you're just like having a good time and everything, obviously like the spirits can react however they're going to react. Have you ever felt like, yeah, we're having a good time, this is a great experience, and then something serious comes in and you're like, wait a minute, maybe we should just take a second?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's happened a few times, and the biggest thing is, especially BJ, if you've seen a couple of my episodes, the one thing that is I'm not disrespectful, right? It's all my comedy is introspective. It's about me, my outlook, what I'm experiencing. It's about me being an idiot, and then positive. I'm just a positive person to begin with, right? So, and it's called positive energy, for a reason. And I feel like we get a lot more, be it serious or just fun, just interaction in general, just from the energy that we create from laughing, having a good time, being positive. It's pretty incredible what you can actually like see and document without having to be super serious or scared, because that was my thing was you watch a couple of the was it Ghost Adventures with Zach Baggins, and you think everything is demons, right? And I've learned now that you're more likely to find semen than a demon. I'm just putting it out there.
That needs to be on a t-shirt. I will wear
Right?
that. Like at every spooky place I go, you're more than likely to find semen than a demon.
It's the truth. It's the God's honest truth.
No, that's amazing though. I love that because the investigations most people go on, they're like focused, they're asking questions, they have a very, this is what they're doing. This is the, they've done it a million times. This is their process. And I love that yours is different. It is not that way at all. I mean, it is that way. I mean, you guys do get into the technical stuff and you guys do rein it in here and there. And it is, you do provide good information. You're like, this is a spirit box. This is, the dowsing rod, all that kind of good stuff. Right. But you also, you bring a sense of levity. You make it light, which I appreciate a lot. And I think that is entertaining. And I think a lot of people are drawn to that. And I think even the spirits are gonna, maybe it's something different. It's not your run of the mill, like, oh, all we're doing is sitting and being boring. And because I feel like the spirits themselves, if you believe in that sort of thing, want to experience something else too, because they're tired of just people just sitting there and asking them questions, right?
I mean, if you guys lived in Colorado, right? So Hotel Colorado, they probably get paranormal investigative groups probably weekly, right? Easily. And they probably come in and they probably all ask, the same questions. How'd you die? Do you know you're dead? Are you afraid? Are you alone? What happened to you? Right? You're going to get the same. So just imagine if you were dead at the Hotel Colorado and you had to deal with this every flippin' week, somebody asking you the same gosh darn questions, you'd want to try to kill yourself again. Right? So sometimes it's good to do something that is different, to ask different questions, to be different, because it shakes up, it just shakes up the monotony that, I mean, if we can get bored, why couldn't they, right? If we can laugh, why can't they? So I feel like that is something that we need to consider. I mean, who knows, right? Who knows what really comes next? I don't even know if aliens exist. I would like to think so.
I'm pretty sure you're an alien. However,
I could be. I keep Vaseline in my pocket in case I get probed, so you never know.
You mentioned positive energy, and I'm a firm believer in energy. And to your point, when you go into these spaces and people are like super somber, and you can definitely you should absolutely be respectful, but you're going in with like this different vibrational energy that's bright and light and infectious. Of course, things are going to be a little bit probably more drawn to you because it's like, man, we're doom and gloom all day, every day. And then you come in and I have arrived, and it's like a rainbow just showed up.
It's like a breast of fresh ass.
Yeah,
You
that.
know? Right.
So what got you into this? And like, obviously you're into comedy, but like, what bridged the gap to the paranormal?
I mentioned it a little bit at the beginning. My little intro says, I had a couple of deaths in my family, and I'm curious as to what comes next. Is there life after death? And that, in part, is true. I lost my father and some grandparents. All just kind of boom, 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 real quickly, and it did make me start questioning. What happens when I die? What is going to come next? And then it made me think about some of the interactions that I had when I was a kid. I can remember when I was 18, I went to this park in Vegas at like 2:30 in the morning. I was with a couple other buddies. We had just finished a recording session because at the time I was going to be a musician. No, not really. But I thought I was, right? So we finished recording. To celebrate, we went to Jack in the Box because we're very poor at that time. Some things never change. And then we go and you can't eat there because it's 2:30 in the morning. So we go to this random park in the middle of nowhere, Vegas. And the next thing you know, we're playing on the slides. We're having a great time. We're laughing. Like, just things that we did not do at that time. And it struck us as weird. And then we got off the playground and we started walking into like the actual park area, which was a massive soccer field park. And as we started walking, the section that we left, the sprinklers came on. And so we kept walking and then those sprinklers would go off and the next sprinklers would come on. And then we were like, well, maybe it's just on a timer. So why don't we just go ahead and we decide, we get about halfway and we're like, we're just gonna head back. The second we decide to stop and turn around, every single sprinkler came on. And then one of my buddies mentioned that he saw what looked like a pale man on stilts. After that, we get home at like 3:30 in the morning, get to my buddy Sean's house. As we get out of his car and we go walking up the driveway, the sprinklers on his front lawn come on. We try to go to sleep. Doors slam. The TV turns on and off all night long. We wake up. We have to go to work. We kind of get back together that afternoon because we're freaked out, right? So me, Sean, my other buddy Baron, we go back to the park and we're kind of just walking on the sidewalk, right? And we're just kind of following the soccer field. We're just watching it, right? Just seeing if the sprinklers are going to come on, and nothing comes on, right? So we're just walking and walking and walking. Again, we get about like halfway-ish, and we're like, this is stupid, right? What are we doing? I'm a grown-ass 18-year-old, right? I got like one hair on my chest, okay? I got this. So I step foot onto the grass, and the second I step one ever-loving foot onto the grass, the sprinklers come on. Man, I ran so fast, I lost both my shoes. I lost them both.
Did you lose your socks too?
I had no socks. I had no shoes. I lost them all. But then we had no more issues.
Imagine the person finding those the next day.
Yeah, they were like, the shoe's like this big. What are we gonna do with it? Some poor little child lost their shoe.
And whose Barbie sock is this?
Yeah, who is this? So, but we had no more problems after that. It was like it hitched a ride with us, and then we dropped it off. It was the craziest thing. And I've always had that in the back of my mind that I wanted to kind of learn more about that experience. And this is kind of like another gateway into which I can experience not just, maybe people that have passed, but what if there are other be it dimensional beings or multiversal beings or just other creatures that live parallel to us that we don't normally get a chance to see or interact with, but they do actually exist. So it's been cool to kind of go down that rabbit's hole.
Yeah, is that something? So obviously you wanted to at some point combine the two, right? Like what you're doing now, like the comedy, but also the paranormal. Is it just has it been easy to just bridge that gap?
Yeah, for me, yes, but I don't know. Obviously, if you watch the show, something like that has not been done before in this type of industry, in the paranormal entertainment industry, I guess. So it is like a brand new field to kind of experience. I mean, you get some shows where they'll have some jokes. You got like Ghost Brothers or something like that, but my show is a whole different animal comparatively, right? And I wasn't sure at first. To be completely honest with you, when we started, I had no clue if it was going to work or if it was going to just fall flat, but I had faith in myself. I believed that Mary Lynn would be able to, do her part, and just had a hope that, it would all come together, that the vision that I had on my mind would work, on paper and on screen, and it did. And so I'm thankful that it did work out, because it could have not, and we would not be having this conversation.
Do you ever worry that going into these spaces you might eventually connect to something or bring it back with you? Or are you like, man, I'm so positive and happy that shit just rolls off?
Yeah, so one, everything does roll off. Like, I've gone to some very sketchy locations, and so far, thankfully, I've not had any connections. Now, we've had some of the crew go home with stuff. And Mary Lynn is usually pretty good about, helping everybody stay protected, but it does happen. It has happened. I've seen it, and that's pretty freaking wild. And yeah, I definitely do wonder if, like, one day, I'll pick up just, just the right type of energy, the right being that can glom on, figure out a way to stick. That is always a problem. But my absolute biggest concern when we go to a lot of these places is, will they have a working toilet, right? I am terrified of having to poop in the dark in like a bucket. You know what I mean? Like, that just sounds awful.
No, that's real though. Maybe not the pooping in the bucket, but like going to these old dilapidated places, that is a valid thing where they're like, you're going to be here for 6 or 9 hours. Like, oh shit, where am I supposed to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, and then on top of that, you're like, am I like getting, as I'm trying to take a trip to the urination station, are there like ghosts just like sitting there watching me? Like, am I getting judged right now? Like, it's weird. It's a weird feeling.
They're comparing.
They could be, right?
I mean, wait, but do ghosts have dicks? That's
Yes.
it. Like, is there a paranormal penis?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well, then they're comparing.
Paranormal penis, PP. It works.
PP.
It's the alliteration. P squared.
Well,
P squared.
I do like that in the episodes I've seen there. You're like, oh, there's a bathroom. Like, you're so excited about it. Like, anytime you see the bathroom. And
Yes.
yeah, like, that's amazing. I've gone to a few paranormal investigations, and the places that I know that are super haunted, like, I'm always afraid to go to the bathroom. I'm like, hey, do you guys want to, like, go to the bathroom with me? Because, like, I don't want to go alone. It's weird, but it's also like, that's you're the most vulnerable. Your pants are down. You're alone in the bathroom, right? Like, I feel like
Yeah.
that's the time. If something's gonna mess with you, that's the time to do it. And
Right.
there's no cameras, and you're just there.
It's hard to run with your pants around your ankles.
Yep.
Yeah, so I worry about that. It's not the sitting with everybody in a dark room together. It's that I'm in the stall by myself in this really old building, and there's people, but they're like, I don't know, 200 feet away, and nobody can hear me scream.
Yeah, or even this, you go to these abandoned places, right? And even if they have a working toilet, let's say you got to do a number 2. How do you know a spider hasn't crawled into your undies and you put it up and you get bit in the testes?
You just put
Right?
a whole new level of fear in my eyes now. I can't ever go to the bathroom in a
Yeah.
place like that now. Crap.
Yeah, you check down there, your ball sack looks like a baby's elbow. It's so smooth and big, It's awful.
Oh no,
You guys are
No, thank
killing
you.
me.
that doesn't sound fun.
No,
or-
I don't want to. No, I'm
But
done.
that's what they say. That's what they have you sign the waiver for your testes, right?
For your
Yes.
testes. Make sure that you
It's
don't
not
get
for
bitten. If you do,
ghosts.
it's not our
It's
fault.
Not for
Yep.
that. It's for spider bites on your nuts. Is what it's for.
And here's another thing too. Like,
I don't have nuts,
Let's
so
say-
I'm clear.
if you're a ghost, right? You died and you're a ghost, right? I mean, is there like a ghost of Stephen Hawking's like wheeling around somewhere? I mean, like, how does that work? You know what I mean? Is there like an un-AIDS version of Freddie Mercury, or is it just the AIDS version of
I
Freddie
mean,
Mercury?
and I think we kind of talked about that in a previous episode, like with whatever you had elements of in your, physical world, when you die, does that go away? Or
Yeah.
are you
Does
fucked
Wilford
if you're a
Brimley
ghost?
still have diabetes?
Diabetes. Who the fuck did I hit?
Yes.
But I mean, I've always wondered that. Like, do you still, if you, if you lost a limb, does Lieutenant Dan still look like Lieutenant Dan?
I'll give you. I understand that. I've actually been asking that same question lately, and even deeper. If you have dementia, does that go away? Are
Right.
you right? And that's very, very interesting because obviously, so I've experienced situation. I've had like we're all of us were dreamers, right?
Nobody asked you, BJ. Okay.
We've had paranormal experiences in our dreams, and I've had a dream where I died basically. And when you die, when I felt it, it wasn't a feeling. It wasn't a mental projection of anything. It wasn't from that perspective. It was from a soul perspective. And so when your mental part of it is not part of the equation anymore. So maybe that dementia part, that part where you're losing your mind, is also not part of the equation, and so it's just your spirit. It's just everything that's there that you can filter stuff through, that makes it where you're not that person anymore. You're not that screw loosed whatever. You're not experiencing whatever you're experiencing in the afterlife through the lens of dementia. You're doing it through your soul. And that's the question. Like, is that how it works? Or do you still have remnants of that?
And then that even gets you into the realm of reincarnation, right? So if you manage to forget all of this life, can you start forgetting some of your past lives too? How does the regression work? I mean, where does it end?
I mean, some people claim it doesn't, but that the lives present themselves as you need them to. So, like, whatever you need to learn from it or remember from it. But according to the, people that we've talked to that can, I don't know, what do you call it? But that can actually access those past lives for people. According to them, it's all accessible. It's all there. It's just things come forward as you need it, as you need to remember a lesson or whatnot. I don't know, though. I've never done it. I've never had my life address. I already have enough with this one. I don't even know if I want to visit the past lives. I'm already a fucking hot mess now.
I think it's fun. I've done it once, and I was told that in one of my past lives I was like a family man, and like I had a good job and all that kind of stuff. And
Like Peter Griffin?
more lawyery.
Oh, okay. You said family man, not family guy.
Not
Okay, I get
Family
it now.
Guy.
Okay.
No, I wasn't. I was actually in a much better place when in a previous life, And then I was also ancient times. I was a sea turtle, so I was just chilling, swimming in prehistoric times, which is kind of
Munching
cool.
on some kelp, yo.
If you want, that's what it's about. I think it's all about kelp, right?
And then, you know what? If we're going to talk about, like, things that we just don't quite know about, that don't make sense, what about Bigfoot? Okay? And this is a genuine question I have. Does Bigfoot have a child, or do they have a litter? Does Bigfoot have 2 nipples or 6, folks? Okay?
Well, you guys talked about, do you guys remember?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, what would you call a female Bigfoot?
Probably like big titties.
Big boob.
That was pretty close to
Yeah.
what we came up with. Yeah, we called it big boobs.
But would it be 2 boobs or 6? I mean,
That's a
is
fair
this something
question.
we could capture
That's a
in
fair-
milk? Like,
Yeah,
I
we
don't
didn't
know.
get that far. Yeah, we didn't get that far.
Is Bigfoot more primate or is Bigfoot more canine? Because if Bigfoot's more primate, then there would be only 2. But if it's more
But what
like
if a Bigfoot is
canine-
more? What if Bigfoot is more fey? What if it's more like fairy-like and it like crosses like dimensions and that's how it travels?
Do Fae have multiple nipples?
Yes. Well, does Bigfoot have one dick or many? Because you just brought up a good question, Ashley. Like, is it just a member or is it a duo?
A duo. Well, why not aim even higher? Maybe Bigfoot has 6. I don't know.
Right?
Maybe, who knows? Maybe it's just all penis. Like, we don't know.
It's just one big penis.
And maybe on its butt it has a bumper sticker that says, "My other ride is a helicopter." I don't know. We don't know, folks. These are the
No,
questions.
that's the hat he wears.
Yes. These are the hard-hitting questions that you're not going to get on any other podcast, folks.
I mean,
No.
this is
not wrong.
investigative journalism at its finest.
Suck it, Clark Kent.
So in all seriousness, do
Back to
you
serious.
do you believe what? So do you believe in? If you had to say you believe in one thing more than the other, ghosts or aliens?
Aliens for sure,
Aliens. Okay.
hands down.
Why would you
Because-
say that?
And the reason why, and even though I've never experienced one, right? I've seen like the light in the sky, which could be a UFO, and it moved crazy. You know, when I was a kid, I saw something like that. But the reason why I say that I believe that is far more realistic, or has a better chance of truly being factual, I guess, is one, I think an alien would be easier to prove, first and foremost, in the form of, see, hear, touch, and taste, right? I don't know why you'd want to taste an alien, but maybe.
You do.
okay?
You really do.
But and I think because the galaxy, the universe, it's so massive. There are billions upon trillions of potential homes that it just makes sense that there could be alien life. Maybe it's not as advanced as a green guy that looks like a butt plug flying around on like an RC car or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's just
You
something
speaking
like
from
an
experience?
yes, like amoebic. Maybe it's just like a little amoeba somewhere, living in water on Uranus. But I mean, it's possible, right? So I think alien life in that form is far more like quantifiable to me than saying yes, there are factually ghosts.
Well, okay, so I would almost disagree with that, and here's why.
Well, fuck you, you're dead to me. Okay.
I say that to him all the time.
So so we're on this planet for a very short time individually, right?
Yeah.
Millions of years, all of that. We're on this like not even a blip, right? For like 70, 80, 90, whatever years, right? And then you're just gone. So for me, I feel like I think that's hard to believe that that's it. Like that you're just gone, even though, that it just cycles through. I do believe in the afterlife, and I believe
That's the key word, though.
Yeah.
Belief. There's a big difference between believing and knowing, right? You can believe in the afterlife. You can believe in God, but you know you were born, right? You know who your parents are. Well, unless you're like an orphan, I guess. But
Oh God.
right. But do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And there is that difference. It's that wisdom intelligence difference. So do I believe that it's more likely that there are ghosts than there are aliens? I believe that there are ghosts. I believe in the afterlife. but I think it'll be easier to know that there are aliens. I think the first thing we will discover between the two to know will be that there are aliens. And then the next, to me, you would know that there would be an afterlife.
Is there a reason it's in that order?
I think because us as humans, we're material beings, right? And we need to understand something fully. You need to have mass, matter, energy, space, time, right? You need to have those things for you to completely understand it fully. So what are you more likely to get that from? Something intangible, right? Which would be a ghost, right? So that's going to be a little more difficult to get that matter, to get the energy, to get the space, to get the time. Whereas something like an alien life form, all we have to do is go so far as to drill a hole in Mars, and then ta-da, there's some type of alien life form. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not like somebody playing, video games. Maybe it's literally just like a little bug on the ground, but that in itself would classify as alien life, right?
I mean, speaking of past lives too, what if these aliens and Bigfoot, Big Feet, and Fae are just iterations of us? So
Absolutely.
we leave the human existence, and then suddenly I'm like, Osh 2-3 on a different planet. I don't know.
And you know what? How cool would that actually be?
Yeah.
Right? And who knows? Maybe there is some alien on Warnak 9 who's scared of humans, right? It was under my bed, mommy. We don't know, right? Like that's like the coolest part about all of it. And to go even further, BJ, I honestly hope we never know the answer. Especially to the afterlife, especially to ghosts. I hope we never know the answer, because I feel like the true reward is the journey in this case, not the destination.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, like we've had quite a few guests on, and they've talked about their connection to different species and different dimensions, different galaxies, living in all of these different places, right? And portals and all of that kind of thing. And like for me, maybe it's one and the same, right? Maybe it's not death aliens or ghost aliens. Maybe it's both, right? Maybe it is just a continuum of things that we just put into these two categories that we just can't understand, and that's the way we do it because it makes sense to us to put it that way.
That's true. I'm gonna blow your guys' minds right now. So I talk about this in a presentation that I do. Okay, do you believe in past lives?
I don't know.
I do.
Okay, you're not sure. Okay, now that we've established we do believe in past lives, I do also believe in past lives. Okay, so if you believe in past lives, name a pet from your past life. You can't. You can't, no matter how hard you try. You might be able to try to come up with a name, but the reality is you don't remember what they look like. You don't remember what type of animal they probably were. You don't remember the good times, the bad times. You don't remember how it felt when they passed. How is something so incredibly emotionally connected, spiritually connected to you, yet you cannot remember? Even though I guarantee you in every single past life you've ever experienced, you've had a pet. And I'm going to answer this for you. I believe that when you pass, I believe you shed that life like a skin, like a snake sheds its skin, okay? I believe, so you leave everything that life was connected to with that life, so it can stay connected, right? So psychics can communicate via a medium, right? Like you hear Sarah Lemos. I don't know if you know who Sarah Lemos is, but she explained to me at one point that she sees every person that's ever been connected to you kind of like as a mirror. So all of your ancestors are connected. Well, how is that possible if you're being reincarnated? It's not. Unless you leave it behind. so it stays connected to everything that it's supposed to, so you can go on and create something new. However, just like a snake, little pieces of skin can be left behind. Little patches. Just get stuck to you. And those are the little things that you can remember, that you can pick up on. Maybe you can play the piano like a prodigy. Maybe you're really good at math for some reason. Maybe you just have a memory. Just a fleeting memory. I don't know. But maybe that's how it works. And maybe what we're talking to are those facsimiles that are left behind. Maybe it's people that are still stuck, that are actually stuck, that never moved on. Maybe it's because they don't want to shed it. Maybe they want to hold on to it. They can't let it go. Just adds a different perspective, right?
I love that you're using the snake metaphors here because, we just entered the Lunar New Year, and isn't it like the year of the snake?
And I'm a silly dude, but I can be serious sometimes.
No, that was a poetic. Look at you, Dupe Shooply.
I like that, and I think that reminds me of a lot of the one thing about running a podcast is you run into all kinds of people from all walks of life, and they all have different opinions on different things. And I think for us, for me anyway, eye-opening things are when you do die, and if you believe in reincarnation, and then you come back, you will run into people, and it's people that you maybe in the past life they were your cousin, maybe they were your best friend, but you still rotate through with these people, so you're still with them. So they're and I've felt that for sure, where you would meet somebody and they're like, I don't know why I like you, but you're family to me, and that's always been the case. I have no doubt whatsoever in my mind, and it's and people say that. I mean, there we have had guests that say, yeah, you are. These are, what are they called, Ashley? This is like a soul,
You're talking about your soul family.
Yeah, your soul family. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
They're like your soulmates, but they're like a family level. So it's not like soulmate in the romanticized notion of I'm meant to be with you in this, romantic way. It's just they're your people that you travel with and repeat lives with.
I think that's a great way to put it. See, because I just tell people, hey, if I die, I'm going to find you. And then I get restraining orders. But that's not what you know what I mean? It's not what that was not what I was trying to convey. I'm just saying, if I die next life, I want to find you so we can hang out. But
so speaking of which, we are also a horror podcast. Are there any horror movies that you've seen recently, or maybe any favorites of yours that you're just like, something maybe not quite as well known that you're just like, people watch this?
To me, the greatest horror movie ever made is The Ring. I'm obsessed with that movie and Samara. And you know what's funny is it's not the jump scares that scared me so much with that movie, right? Like when she comes out of the TV or anything like that. It wasn't the phone call when she's like 7 days. That wasn't what got me. It was when, I guess, spoiler alert if you haven't seen this movie, but if you haven't seen this movie by now, you probably are a weirdo or blind. If you're blind, then I apologize, okay? That would definitely make me a total dick. But it's when the main protagonist, she falls in the well and she finds Samara's body, right? And she's like, I got you, I'm gonna get you out of here. And they manage to get her out of the well, and then she gets home and she tells her kid, hey, it's over. Everything's great. I found her. She was in the well. And then she goes, she says, the kid goes, what? You weren't supposed to help her. I lost my ever-loving shit. Okay? I lost my shit. And that freaked me out so bad. It was, it was like almost the knowing of the not knowing. And it freaked me out. So if you haven't seen The Ring, I highly recommend The Ring.
The false resolution, so great. Yeah, those are amazing.
It's not a horror per se, but it is a very good movie that's kind of creepy, very suspenseful, and an absolute mind effer. There's a movie, and you got to go to the Korean version. It's called Old Boy. If you haven't seen it, it's gonna blow your mind. If you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about.
Old Boy is amazing, and I love the director. He did the Sympathy for, it's the Vengeance trilogy basically. So Old Boy is one of those. Sympathy for Lady Vengeance is my probably either it's right there with Old Boy or just below it. But that one is also amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Another good horror. It's like a horror, action, drama, suspense kind of mixed together. It's a little bit older now. Same thing with The Ring, but it was called Pandorum. So Pandorum is basically about this ship where the Earth is lost. So they throw a bunch of people. I mean, a ton of people on the ship, and they find this planet way, way, way out in another galaxy. So they put everybody into these cryo chambers and they send them out. And it's supposed to take hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of years to get there. Well, a part of the crew all of a sudden wakes up. And they wake up and turns out everybody's still asleep for the most part. There's no fucking stars. They are in deep doo-doo, and there are these things on the ship that are not human. It's just a wild, mind-effery horror of a movie. It's phenomenal. And then if you want like a fun horror, Drag Me to Hell.
You know, you mentioned, what was it? The Korean horror film? Is that what you said? I am so glad that international horror is making it onto a bigger platform.
So I have to bring up a movie because we're all talking about like international horror. This is something that Ashley and John brought up to me. This one is actually with the paranormal, and it's aggressive paranormal. It's When Evil Lurks from Argentina. When Evil Lurks, like watch that film. It will, like, if think about, like, I don't know, like, do you remember the Jason Statham movie where his like heart's gonna stop or whatever? Like, what is that?
Adrenaline, right?
Crank.
Crank. Think about Crank, but paranormal, but I mean different plot line, but like that level of just intensity, but with paranormal, and just like this is how it hits you, and it just keeps coming and coming, and it's just brutal and intense, and just you can't escape it. And it's just like, oh my God, run and run and run. And it's just the entire movie is just amazing. It's definitely worth watching. Yeah, that one scared me. Like, there's not very many movies that are just like, it just leaves you like depressed and scared and like heart pulsing. Like, that one was just like, oh my God. Like, because it's a slow burn. A lot of movies that are paranormal, it's a slow burn. You got to introduce the characters, you got to figure all this stuff out, but this one, I mean, you get to know the characters, but also it's just like once it hits it, it just keeps going and going and going, and you're just running. You feel it. You feel their desperation. You feel it's not something that you just want to sit there and be like, well, let's think about what we do next. No, you got to go. You're going to be dead.
BJ, you're bringing up When Evil Lurks. I think a lot of Latin American film is being slept on right now, but they're starting to pay way because of When Evil Lurks. So Demian Rugna, he's done other stuff. He did Aterados, and that was amazing. But again, it's kind of kept secret. It's word of mouth, right? Like, oh, you should watch this movie, and going to look for it. But with him creating When Evil Lurks and that hitting American theaters and like making its crazy rounds and people being like, what the fuck did I just watch? That was amazing and gruesome and terrifying. Like, I feel like that's going to open up more to possibilities of international films being brought into American theaters because we need it. I love horror that fucks me up.
I would love to see more like Central Southern American stuff.
Yeah. I had a question for you because I know you consider yourself the normal and the, non-metaphysical person in these investigations. Yeah. Do you feel that when you go to these places, do you still feel like you have to prepare yourself or ground yourself? Or do you go in like, hey, I'm normal, I don't need to do anything. I'm a muggle.
I have never grounded myself. I have never done any type of preparation. Half the time, I don't even pay attention to what they're telling me properly. Okay, but I in a way, it's kind of on purpose because I want the audience to see the difference. You know, I want them to understand the difference between myself, who is, just kind of devil may care, chaos incarnate, and Mary Lynn, who does prepare, who is grounded, who is a psychic, who is aware of the emotional and spiritual energies in the room, in the area, in the environment, and she's really good. I mean, there's been times when she's been like, hey, Mike, don't go in that room right now. She's stopped people. I've seen her. In fact, last time we were at Yorktown Hospital, which is where our second episode takes place, we went with a group, and one of them was very, I won't say like antagonizing, but was definitely like pushing, right? And something pushed back. And they got very sick. They started vomiting. They fell. They got dizzy. They had to go outside. And Marilyn, she had to go out and help this person who was in dire need of, just some spiritual guiding. All the while, I was dressed up as a rabbit from the Christmas Story. It helps me kind of, in a weird way, it helps me connect. Everybody has their, some people like crystals. I like comedy. Everybody has their own medium that they use to connect with locations, spirits, or people. To me, that's my mechanism is comedy. When you decide to go and investigate, understand the best way to do that is by being yourself. Even if that means maybe you're, like the Kling brothers from Ghost Lab. They're very, in your face. They're almost antagonistic to a degree. They're argumentative, right? But that is their style. That is them, right? You can't fault them for being them. So just whatever it is however you feel that you need to proceed, just do you. Because that's the way you're going to get the absolute best results. No matter whether it's you want to go in there and be like, hey, you want to fight? Or maybe you want to laugh. Maybe you just want to go in there and be quiet and learn. Maybe you want to use equipment. Maybe you want to use dowsing rods. Whatever. Maybe you want to bring your Black & Decker Pecker Wrecker. Whatever it is, be you.
I'm just going to start walking into haunted houses and being like, hey, motherfuckers, I woke up this morning and chose violence. Let's do this.
And you know what? You might elicit the responses that you're hoping for.
That I deserve.
Because that is the truest energy. Is the energy that you're going to produce is going to be the energy that you're the most comfortable with yourself. I believe that because the second you try to alter your personality to fit into a location, is the second you basically take your energy level and you hinder it. So don't be you. Go nuts. Have fun, you rascally kids.
You've been a delight. You've been amazing. I hope you don't lose your Barbie socks or shoes. What other projects do you have that you'd like to shout out to? This is your time.
So, season 2, we get ready to film season 2. It'll be another 8 episodes. I'll be helping out with another show called Urban Investigations, or Urban Investigator, which is Vince Keelan. I'll be helping him do some directing and some filming as well. And then I just have some other like side projects that we'll be filming on and off. I will say this. If you like the paranormal and you like food, you will like my next show. I promise you. You will like the next show that that's in development right now.
Paranormal and food, how those two go together, I'm sure you're the only person that can figure out how to make that happen. So,
and I did.
Paranormal pasta.
It's gonna be great, guys. It's gonna be great. Other than that, I have my podcast. I do it actually, I just finished it right before I came on with you guys. So, Pair with an Abnormal, the Pair with the Normal podcast.
A lot of times we have paranormal investigators on, and some of it's gets a little serious, and it's nice to have the levity, the comedy, and all of that as part of something that, I mean, it is serious. Like, it is something that people really, get, they want to connect with the other side because it means a lot to them. But also, it can be something that's funny. It can be something that doesn't have to be so serious, and I like that about you.
Do you guys know what the difference between toilet paper and wallpaper is?
Oh boy.
No, what is it?
Gross.
All right. John Thomas, you want to bring us home?
Yeah, let's do it. Just kidding. Thank you for coming on, Michael. It's been a blast. Like everybody said, it's good to have the comedy with everything. Everything gets so serious sometimes, and it's kind of like whatever. But yeah, so thank you for coming on, and thank
I'm
you
sure
to our
every
listeners.
guest that's come on before that just heard that is gonna feel like you insulted them.
They're like, dick. Sorry, no,
Fuck
no,
you,
no,
John
no.
Thomas.
I deserve it. No, they were all great too, but hey, getting to some funny stuff is always good. So I apologize to earlier guests. Thank you to our listeners for listening to this episode of 3Haunted Podcast with your hosts. I'm John Thomas.
I am Ashley Lunar Goddess.
And I'm BJ Seura.
And I'm Dupe Shipley.
If you and he's Dupe.
I know.
Doop doop doop.
If you have any questions, comments, episode suggestions, or concerns for all of us, because why not? Please feel free to email us at 300podcast@gmail.com. And if you haven't done so already, you're slacking because this is season 5. Please like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media. You don't want to miss amazing guests like Mr. Michael here.
And also, don't forget to check out 300podcast.com, where you'll find all of our past and current season episodes, as well as guest information and all kinds of awesome merch.
Until next time.